So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start. It's nice to have you today. I hope my presentation would be added value to your knowledge and to have some insights on your careers. To start with, I'd like to introduce myself. Probably you have read the caption that has been advertised for the session, so you probably have some idea of my background. I have a PhD in business management focused on gender issues and women empowerment and career development from University of Porto in Portugal. Before that, I had my MBA from HIBA, the first batch, which was supervised by the European Commission. And I have an experience of 10 years in universities, before that in institutions and in schools. I've had several managerial positions in Arab International University. In addition to my career as and coordinator of communication skills, I've had the experience of teaching human work. The topic is about, is your work you will know your work type. When and why do I have a job? When and how do I have a career? And when do I have a calling? And then we'll have some career models, and the conclusion with some definitions. Know your work type. Now you will have like 4 statements. What I need you to do is that take the first choice of each statement. Each statement, to complete the statement, you have 3 choices. So just one of the first thing that you think it applies to your work and put it down on your notebook, okay? And then we'll see what work type you have. Okay. So now you have definitely chosen your for each statement the completion of that applies to your work. Now, if you have a job, then your choices should be like similar to this. If it is a career, your choice would be like this group. And if it is a calling, it's like that. You might have 3 choices and one is different. This means that the more choice that you have, for example, you have the first statement C, the second A, and third C, but the fourth is something else. Okay, then you have most of your choices are like a job. So your work is a job. If it is most of your choices in career, then you have a career. And if it is a calling, and this also applies for that. So the more items that you have in your choices, the more likely your work is. Either a job, a career, or a calling. We'll elaborate more on it. Well, when I say my career is my work is a job, I do when do I have a job, or when do I work? When first you work when you're in high school. You might also work while you are a university student or graduation. In this respect, when you are in school, do you work? When you are in the high school, you probably would give some reasons for that. First, for example, well, you would like to buy for teenagers. like to buy the clothing item that they like. For university students, they would like to either go to the festival that they want to, or also fulfilling their needs, sometimes trying to save the hard work of the parents to provide them their expenses, so that they would finance themselves. And after graduation, you need to work, so you don't know what to do first, so you just try to find anything to start with. You are still not mature in your choice, right? When we have a career, it's different in this respect. Yeah, first, I think, I graduated, okay, already finished my university, so what am I gonna do? Think about, well, what kind of work and what am I planned for? What vision should I have? What skills do I need? And how do I learn all these, and so on? So the first thing that is very much I advise is that, well, after university, enhance your network. Just start with developing your, expanding the people in different spheres. Those would be the key people to help you find your job. So it's really time. With my degree, I developed education. I am able to find a job. Once I start my job, I start to think of my career. Now I am motivated if I am working. I am motivated. I have my degree. I am learning more skills. What's the skills I might need? You have to think of your vision. Where do you want to be in 15 years time, 10 years time? You have short-term goals and long-term goals. The value that you need to work on. What am I gonna do? What kind of values? What is the company gonna tell me? What values do I have to follow, or do I have my own values? So it depends. Okay, so this is how you start to develop and plan for your career. Now, calling, this is related to a very mature maturity in career. In calling, we feel the calling before like 8 years of the career. In 8 years' time, you have the experience, you have achieved some kind of plan in your work, and then you want to to think, what does it mean calling? I love my work. I love my job. What does it mean? How do I express that I love my job? I am happy when I'm on the way to work. How do I know that I love my job? This is the feel. I'm happy when going, and I don't, the time passes and you don't feel that I've already worked all day. So this is also a sign. I relate my work to the company's objectives and more. After a long experience and you know now your performance, how much it is positive on your work, and how much this work relates to the company's development, to fulfilling this calling, objective of the company. This is when you have a calling. You have a calling if you think of volunteer job. sometimes in addition to your career, in addition to being a careerist, and you have your own career path, you are a volunteer in, you start to think to volunteer in other activities that serve the society. So you look for volunteer activity. Like, I don't know, in Syria, there is Ata'i, for example, programs. All people who train, who present trainings in Ata'i, they all have careers besides, but they also go for a volunteer activity. I think of charity organizations, of, well, participating with IHR, for example. Okay, I want to present a training for those who are in need of skills. Okay, this is a kind of, there are lots of those in Syria or all over the world. I grow my goals big to participate in social development projects. You start to think of your fellow people around you in the suburbs of your city, in other friends, other areas where there is a need for developing the population there. So you start to suggest projects for illiteracy, projects for skills development, etc. So this is what we call a social development project. Sustainability and maintaining literacy and skilled individuals in the society. This is an objective of somebody who has a calling. There is always a high aspiration. Now, the work model of students. This is, I wanted to suggest, or I wanted to show you a kind of model for career. The students usually start from university. Okay, what would they start? The first job that could be in hand, shop assistant. What can I learn being in a shop, for example? Communication skills with people, talking to people, organizing items on the shelves. This helps me organize my things the way I think, how prioritize things. So you might think that, wow, what a silly job is that? But in fact, it's not a silly job. So, or one could be a assistant in a post office, or in DHL, FedEx, etc. You organize parcels, etc. Also, you learn a lot from that. And you might be an ad distributor, for example. Be food delivery. Especially now with Corona, food delivery has really been active appeal. Well, you might go for a rent assistant. You might also have in universities, lots of students, they have the passion of cooking. So they participate sometimes in the canteen of the university as an assistant chef, for example. Or you might go for a part-time job as an assistant chef as well. And you might also go volunteer job in addition to your study. It could be work, for students. A student is able to work a little bit there, leave it and try something else here, and leave it and try a job here. The most important is the finance in this respect. That's why we don't call it job and we don't call it career, because it's not that you are going to develop the same. You are not going to go through this path a long time, right? Now, some career paths. model. Always the education is the base, and then this is a professional career that's with the call center, for example. So you started while you were a student, started with the call center. Your performance was really distinguishable, and you were distinguished by the management of the company. So you are suggested to a position that occurs, a sales rep, for example, and then manager suggests one of those who are interns or who are volunteering or who are working as part-time job. So you find it appealing for you, and you're happy because you are distinguished and recognized for your hard work, and you go for the position. In this position, you gain more experience, and you tend to have higher aspiration, are more qualified, you have skills. So another person occurs in the same organization or in the same company, sales and marketing manager, and you go for that. And that is how your experience is being enriched. Your skills are being more solid now, and you have more skills for management and, well, strategies and negotiations, etc. And you dream high and you aim big, and you start to look for a stable job now. You want an organization where you can stay for a long time and you could be effective and practice your experience. And you start looking. Wow, a position of marketing director in a bank. Okay, then you apply, you are accepted, and you go. And this is how the ambition grows higher and higher in the career path. Another career model that starts with a shop assistant. Well, when you were a student, you were a shop assistant, and then you work also as a cafe assistant. And I don't know, in my presentation, there is this line. It's not in my slide. I don't know how this has been, but it's spoiling the slides. Anyway, so after the cafe assistant, you have the passion. You discover that you have the passion of cooking, and you start to give some touches while you are working. You start to organize, for example, the order in a very nice way, and the owner of the cafe, well, notice you, and then asks you would like to work for like 1-2 days in a cafe, in the cafe with as assistant chef, and this is an opportunity for you. Go for it, and then you start your own menus for those 2 days while you are assisting the chef in running. And once your own menus, and then wow, you start to get more and more involved, and you think of having your restaurant. And this is in itself, although you are going into the entrepreneur path, however, you are in fact following a career path. So which started with a shop assistant and cafe assistant, and then a chef, and then to your small restaurant. And then the ambition grows bigger and bigger, and then one becomes an owner of, well, a series or a chain of restaurants, right? Another career path model, which is holistic from our Middle Eastern culture. Girls, sometimes they get married young, and when they get married, they leave their education and they have a family and children, but then they need to go back to school and finish their education. And then after finishing the education, they have to choose the career that suits their services as mothers of children, and they have a family. So she chooses to go for teaching because it's related to her, for example, for her way of dealing with her children. And this, because it is a very satisfying job for the person who's practicing, especially yourself a talented teacher, so you feel really satisfied with with this job, because this job always gives you the result immediately. You teach and you find the students learning and you get the feedback. So that's why it is very satisfactory for the person to teach. And then the aim grows bigger to go to a university, for example, after the experience with children and with, well, more and more. And then she wants to go to a university to be a lecturer sometimes. Once she's in this place, she feels the necessity to continue her studies. She might go to, well, complete her postgraduate studies and become a professor and so on, or some other options would open to her. Another path could start with a volunteer job. Okay, while you're a student, you are volunteer, you tend to like, because when you volunteer in any institution, any UN organized projects or whatever, you are working in different projects, things that are related to medical support, things that are related to service, things related to psychological support. So you to decide where you yourself more. You tend to like one field, so you choose to complete your studies accordingly, to go on to pursue a career in this respect. So once you have graduated, you go to a charity organization where you become part of this, or you share in a project in a charity organization. The dream grows bigger. It's always with more experience, with more skills that I have, the only aim grows much more and much bigger. So you go to a UN organization or one of the international organizations, not necessarily the UN. And then after that, you are mature in your career. This kind of jobs that you started with a volunteer and then you continued, this job always helps. Being a trainer, being a teacher, being somebody who served the community, similar to the job the activities that IHRM does, serving the community. You have this kind of potential to grow and to suggest, to propose some projects to serve the community, to serve the society, depending on research sometimes, other times other projects and the results of those projects and so on. So you start to think of having your own societal institution, your own charity programs, for example, especially with the calamities that spread all over the world. We always hear and there, we always hear some place that has a war, other times that other places that have weather calamity, like a tsunami, like a hurricane somewhere, another. Well, those wars and those calamities, they always produce refugees and people who are in need, tend to go to approach those people. So this is when the job becomes here. I think this kind of job, there is a calling, there is much of a calling here, because in this fact you have reached the maturity, you are financially, you are comfortable, you don't, it's not the priority of you to really gain the finance that much as to be supportive to people and to be able to help others, and this is what satisfies you. So this is a very lively model nowadays. In Europe, we find many associations have been established to support refugees. What they do is that they gather some financial rewards and they buy the needs for the refugees, depending on the reports of the United Nations and in communication with that. So they go and they travel to those refugees wherever they are, and they support them. They give what they need and so on. Even provide the training and they pay for the education of some refugees. Other they use they support them with other needs. To sum up, here are the definitions of a job, a career, and a calling. It is a group of tasks a candidate is required to be paid for. A career is the individually perceived sequence of attitudes and behaviors associated with work-related experience and activities accompanying a person's life. There is always growth in a career path. Career calling. Vincent van Gogh said, "Your profession is what brings your weekly paycheck. Your profession is what you are put here on to do with such passion and such intensity becomes spiritual in calling." I would like to end my presentation with very important motivating tips. Be bold. Bold means جريء. Be bold, make a difference, find your passion, dream big. It's very important to dream big, always. Remember roots, manners, and the way you were raised. Humble, work hard, and look to the future with optimism. It's very important to be always optimistic about whatever you do. Try new things and learn more. Thanks for listening. I'm open to your notes now.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Okay. If you have any question,
no.
ask us by chat, or if you want to talk to Doctor, you can. Okay. Yes, Mr.
Okay.
We are hearing you. Yes. Okay.
I can't hear him. I can't hear.
Yeah, he didn't. He don't unmute himself yet. Mr. Hassan, make yourself unmute, please. It's not from me.
Okay, is it clear now?
Yes.
Yeah, now it's clear.
Okay, great. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Lema for her nice presentation and way to organize it. I would like to sum up, and I have some points I wrote in my down. To sum up, to differentiate between job, career, and a calling, we can say that the job is a short-term, temporary actions, mainly for money's sakes, to get paid for. Career is something related to an industry we follow on based on our educations or interest or certain circumstances. But calling is something much more related to the passion have and a way to contribute to our community.
Exactly. And your country sometimes
Yeah. One point I would like to say that even a calling could start even in early stages in our career. I even consider part-time jobs that people get during their education also related to their calling, as long as they have passion for. Meaning that, let me give an example. For example, myself, I worked as a journalist, I worked as a photographer, I worked as in a career online recruiting agency. All these were during the college, but also related to my bigger calling, which is I need to be more with people. Network, mentioned networking, start with the career. I would advise personally that people go for starting to seek for their careers while they are still in college, even if we know in our systems in the Middle East, sometimes people get forced to study things not related to their passion. Because my grades are low in my high school. However, I am passionate about a certain topic or certain industries. I'll go for art school or geography, anything, or history college. But however, I'm more into management, but I couldn't go for school of management. Okay. A lot of people, when they, after their graduation, to start their educations, they find it will not suit them. Example, I work for training businesses for the past 14 years. One of the most successful people I know, he's a physician, he's a doctor, طبيب أطفال. He's been practicing medicine for like 6 years, but when you say he practicing as a pediatric for 6 years, means he need to study even another 7 years. But later on, he put his links in educating people. So he left everything related to medicine and start his own charity training company in Egypt and grew to be more internationally, and one of the training manager of a very highly recognized group in the GCC in the Gulf area. Mm-hmm. Okay, I would summarize. Sorry, please go ahead.
Oh, yes, thank you so much. Yeah. It's a very good example of having a calling, because medicine is always a career that doctors, they wouldn't leave, you know. But
yeah, he found his passion with people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would advise the people, mainly in Syria or anyone, is that they need to, for them find the right career and the right calling, is to combine what they are good at and what they like, and think of it as a product. Okay. Even when we talk about a career or a business or even a calling, things that has to have some sort of, let's say, a return on investment. Okay, is that when you combined your passion, things you like, with the things that you are good at, to formulate some sort of products. For examples, I enjoy reading. I'm very good at readings, and I'm very good at presenting. I combine the information I collect from the reading and my good presentation skills into training programs, and I become an instructor or public speaker, motivational speaker, or a trainer. And this will formulate product. Then product has to be marketed, either to have like my own company developing by this product, yet it require a lot of resources and time and experience, or to go to have a career with, I would call it, people should think of themselves as an entrepreneur. So you have product and try to sell it, and you can sell it with an exclusivity agreement company. You call yourself up, or you have a job, but this is one way to look at it. Another way to look at it as, no, I have a product and I'm having an exclusivity agreement to a company to sell it to the company. by this way, picture is frozen. Do you hear me? Is my voice clear? Or it's a connection issue?
I can hear you.
Okay. So in this way, people would be able to advance their career by developing their products. And overall, when they have a very, let's say, how shall I say it? A very nice product to offer, whether it's a service or a physical product, they can develop it to go for more of a calling where they can help and build community and even maybe find better jobs for other people to contribute in.
Actually, calling people, they don't feel that they have it. No, it grows with your work, and you don't feel you have this calling until you. It becomes so that you prioritize in your work or in your career path. It's a kind. Let me give you an example of, for example, teaching. Teaching is not the best paid job worldwide. Okay,
Sure.
I don't want to generalize, but in general, in most countries, teaching is not the best paid job. However, it is very much that it fulfills the teacher with satisfaction, as it goes on and on, and the teacher forgets about the income of it, because there is something that pays in that, which is, I am really satisfied with my job. I have a full, I am content with my students, with the knowledge that they are getting. I see the reflection of that in their performance, in their progress, in their. That is why sometimes the same thing with trainers, the same thing applies to trainers. But training, on the other hand, is a well-paid job other than teaching.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah. So actually, the call it is not necessary. By the way, it is not necessary. If you have a sexual care, it is not necessary that you have a calling, and you don't have to. Calling is not really a must that a person has to have a calling at the end or well, in his career. The most important thing is to have a successful career, to be satisfied with what you are doing. Are satisfied because you are providing yourself with a good income. You are growing your company big, or you are working in. And this is a calling. This is something different. It reflects on your salary sometimes. So it's not necessary that I have really a calling.
Interesting.
Yes, you
Thank
mean you mean the definitions? The one. Just let me. There is a question about the slide on. Yeah, let me show that as one of the attendees asking. Well, the definition of a career calling, your question is not what brings your weekly paycheck. So it's not something that pays you. So that's why not people have calling. You see, you only have some people, they have calling when you come to the level of, in addition to your career path, you have another objective, which is serving community, serving high goals, which are related to the organization's well-being. Okay, that does not have to reflect on your salary. You do something extra, not to be paid, just because you find this will grow the company, although it's not your company, but you are doing so. You have a company. But then you stay late you work extra hours, even if you are not paid. But what is your objective behind this? It's to submit on time, to be the first to finish the project, to have the bid that the company has applied for, and this would give the greater image to the company. This is a calling, you see. Well, I am working on in a company or in a bank that really reflects on the country's economy. So this is a calling. When I am working, when I calculate things, I calculate the performance of the employees under my supervision and see how much they contribute to the income of the interests of the bank, and how much does that share in the budget that the bank shares in the country's economy. How much my association or my charity, it's not mine, but I am working in that. How much does it help to develop fellow people, okay? Or the society that I am addressing with my, this is a calling. But if I have a successful career path and I am climbing the ladder in my career, that is okay, that is perfect. It's not bad, you know. But when you have a calling, this is another level. This is another level that not all can have it. It's not necessary that, it's not a must that all of us have a calling. Does that make sense to you, Hassan? Or even others? I would like others to participate also.
Yes, there is a question within the chat. I will ask it for you. During the Syrian crisis, some of the people here, they were studying in the university, and they stopped it for many reasons and go to work in companies, and they develop themselves and be in managerial levels. Mm-hmm. Okay, but they didn't continue their studying and didn't graduate from the university. What's your advice for them if they want to complete their studying and graduate and work in their specialist, their university? Okay. Oh my
I think I got the idea. Yeah. Somebody who has not.
They work in another domain, different from their university and
different from their study.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I want
to.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's think in a different way. Sometimes what you have started to study, it might be your choice. It might be the family's choice. It might be your parents' choice for you to go into that major, you know. So what happened is that when you started to study, you didn't find it very much interesting, and you had to work. So work is far more enjoyable than studying. So if you work and you are enjoying your major, it's normal that you would love your job and you would continue and you might develop in that and you might get a career. And this is not wrong. This is not wrong. Huh? Okay. You might not, if you want to complete your study, it's necessary that you study the degree you started. You might study something related to your career. It would support your career. You might go for professional certifications, not necessarily even only the university degree. Let's think a little bit out of the box, you know, or out of our culture's bonds. You know, there is some cultural bonds that always cripple our minds. That you need really to take a high degree in the university to be respected in the society, for example. That is not true. The true thing is, if you are successful, you will be respected no matter what, even if you don't have a degree. If you are a successful person in your career, in your business, in your job, it's not a matter of degree. The degree is to support your passion.
Okay.
To support to give you a guidance. If you have started the love of the major, for example, you wanted, ever since you were at school, you wanted to be an astronaut. I'm talking this from an experience of a person that I know. Ever since he was a little child, he wanted to be an astronaut. He wanted to be an astronaut. And when he grew and he finished the high school, and he wanted to study something related to astronaut, so he studied physics. And he had a very, very high percentage of the high school that enables him to do medicine. The family was very upset because he didn't go to medicine and he went to physics. But then was, even though he was very young, but he was very mature to just not listen to anybody's and follow the passion of his. He wants to be an astronaut. So he studied physics. And where is he now? He's now in USA, and he works with this space company, which is it flipped out of my, I'll get it now. Anyway, so it's a matter of, if you study what you look for, or what you really is your passion, you will definitely follow a successful career related to your passion. At the end, you are a successful person in your career. Does this need a calling? I don't know. If really this person goes for a calling or something, he could be. If he aims for other things that really grows bigger than only his own career or the company's career, or so it's I advise you, if you are successful in your career and you love what you are doing, you study what is related to your career, and not go back to the study. If you don't like it, don't go back to your degree. But if you like it, you will find time to complete it if you want to complete it. If you feel that it would really take your time and it wouldn't serve your career, I don't advise that. I would advise really that you go into professional certification that would support your career.
Okay.
More.
But if we have a situation that the person he love his domain in university and want to continue in it, okay, but in the really life,
repeat the question. The company, by the way, the company is NASA. NASA, the space company, is NASA. There's no why I forgot it, but I was thinking of Sana, and Sana is in Damascus, and it's totally different. It's something same. Anyway, okay, Marah, again to your question.
Okay.
Question, please. Yes.
I was asking you if the situation was the person he loves the domain he is studying in university, okay, and he have the passion in it.
Yes.
But in the real life, he is going on another domain in the work, okay, and develop in it, okay, and become in a very high level. But he still loves his studying domain and want to continue in it. Okay, he wants to achieve in that domain. So what is your advice?
You would find the link.
Okay.
You would find the link. He would complete his study, and he would find a link between what he has done and what he learned. Or he might establish another business which is related to his education, to his passion, along with this one.
Okay.
It's always, there is always a way. You see, there is always a way. I know that once you are involved in your work, it takes all time. But if you are passionate about something, you always find the time for it. You always have this time management to include your passion in. See? So separate. Our life is one life. Okay, so we need to live it right. We need to have our career, successful career, but at the same time, we need to do what we love. If I love, for example, I want to study for law, for example, once in a while. I wanted to study law and I couldn't. My circumstances did not allow that. Okay, so I started to mingle around to find something related to law, and I did my studies accordingly. So it's always, there is a way that you relate what you love to what you do. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Hassan, we are hearing you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my voice is clear. I would like to interfere with our friend who said someone who couldn't study something or studying something. I had a situation 10 years ago. I interviewed someone for a job. We had a requirement for a job. We needed to be sales persons to sell mobile in mobile shop chain. So he came to me. He said, "You asked for someone who can speak English. I do speak English. Someone who can use computers. I know how to use computers, but I only finished my elementary. He had to stop the school when he was in grade 3. Okay. Personally, I was someone who couldn't continue his education, and his education stopped at grade 3, الصف الثالث الابتدائي, and couldn't even have the elementary certificates. I told him, okay, someone with this criteria definitely has a story behind. This guy, he was a Bedouin in Saudi Arabia who lived literally in a tent, who make coal, fahm, and they collect the wood from the deserts, from the forests, and he make the woods. Because of the death of his father, he had to stop his school, but by selling coal, he could help his sisters continue their education. His sister, one of his sisters, will become an English teacher. Okay, the other one became a computer teacher. And he offered them the education, and when they come back from the college, they teach their elder brother. So he speaks English fluently, and he knows how to use the computer, and he believed that having an education is not an obstacle for my life. And right now he's a NAS manager for a big mobile chain in Saudi Arabia, and he even have an LM degree. But because he believed that I'm good at sales, I'm good at convincing people, okay, and although I don't have the education, but he worked hard on himself to continue. So that was a paradigm shift for me when interviewing people, that education is not the only key for us to judge people.
That's true. Yes, this is why I told the person who was asking that it's not necessarily really the university. If you are happy with your work, you could, if you are the passion to study something, you could study something related to your support. Your job could be a professional certification and not necessarily academic. But as he loves, he wants. So this is another story, you know. So he could go back to his study. He would definitely find the link. There is always a link. Whatever you do, you would find another link, or you would have another that streams on with your career. I think we need Miss Ibtihal she asked for to share her experience.
Hello.
Yeah.
So first of all, I thank you, Dr. Lama, for this workshop. Very interesting, and we are needing this type of workshops in today's situation. We are in a COVID situation. Really, we definitely, I don't know what's the situation of the participants, but as far as I'm concerned, I have been working for almost 4 years now. And at a certain moment, you question yourself, or you ask your colleagues, or you wake up saying, am I doing a job, or am I on a career? So thank you, Dr. Lama, for that. And I would like to highlight, and I agree with the fact that what you love, do what you really want to do, because you're gonna do it with passion. The thing is, I'm gonna go back to the point when you said that sometimes we study, and you study to get the grade and pass the class, and you are overwhelmed with the homework and the project that you don't question even yourself. Maybe the age, maybe the personal reasons, but like the education we receive makes us getting a reward after doing an effort. You work to do good, and then you receive the grade, and so and so and so and so, until you go at the university, and then you no longer do the work. And about as far as I'm concerned, I rarely worked in project when I was in high school. It was for like geography or something, but when you go to the university, the way like we study differs. It's different. You have to study in group, you have to go to the professor to ask him in office hours, etc., etc. So I think like finding the career is a journey of a lot of questioning, doubts, learning from other experiences. Some people are very lucky to know it, because it doesn't come. You don't wake up and say like, I'm passionate about being a journalist. You have to work for it. Some fields you need a degree to be in it. For instance, you mentioned the certification is amazing, because you refresh, you get to what you have applied, because when you work, you have a lot of skill. You imagine yourself in this situation. And I can recall here, like one of the things that I am still in the journey, I haven't found it yet, but that helped me, and the journey started with volunteering work. I used to work in part-time and volunteering. It helped a lot, because in volunteering, you are there to give. So you are not giving. So when you are giving, I don't know, psychologically speaking, maybe Dr. Lama can explain more. You feel that you are contributing. You mentioned something. Hello?
Yes, we can
You
hear
mentioned
you.
something about, for example, professor. You are teaching and you see the results. And so I think it's like this volunteering work, charity, organizing the projects, giving to the poor people, listening to the children, seeing that their situation is not yours, making you nostalgic to see what you've been through before. So I think that was very important in this path, because it makes think beyond yourself, because it's not what I want, but what need is there. Have some things. You are safe. You are. You have something other people don't have. For instance, so a contributor cannot giver. Or how can I contribute? Because when you are in a career, it's a lot of leadership in it's group work. It's it's more than yourself, because job, you do your job, you finish it, 8 hours is done, and then you're gone. But in here, because you will be promoted, you will be head team, head of department, maybe the director, so maybe many people will be involved in your career, and when it's built well, everybody is happy. And I can mention that at this I can see the managers. I had managers before that I can see they are in career, And I can see the managers that they are there by experience, and it's not a career. Because when you are there, you are seeing it. You see it in the meetings. You see it in the issues that happen in the company. You see it in the problems. You see it in the situation, the trainings. You can see if your manager and director are on careers and are on jobs. The same thing, the part-time jobs. It's amazing to work part-time. As far as I'm concerned, I did all type of part-time jobs. You can guys imagine. I was in accountant's office. I had no idea what was the accountant. It was during summer. No holidays, no swimming pool and beach. Okay, we have to get something. We know the neighbor has an accountant's office. You go in the accountant, they don't do anything. They literally give you to organize the files. So this was amazing because you see something in the computer that you don't understand, a lot of numbers, and you have to organize and organize the folders they have. So that was amazing. Some people don't like it, but I really advise any students, and I think the career should be implemented in the first year of university, because you better think of it in the first year than thinking of it when you are about to graduate and people are getting the jobs and you are on a rush. So I think it's a journey. As well, I was in a startup, seeing people when there are problems. Some people don't do the insurance, they sneak something. So you are seeing it, you are living it. I was in a startup of IT, startup of thing. Like these little jobs, even if they don't pay well, but they are opening their doors to you to be in their place, and you have access. You are there to learn, which is great. That's it. Thank you, Dr.
Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you. I like your path. I like your path. It's quite impressive, actually, and very much ideal for university students. And then, as you have seen, how the career path is developing. And have you reached any managerial in your career? You are still young in your career, but any kind of
I haven't done that, even if I got the opportunity to do so. But for me, I don't have in myself, like there is a deadline, you have 4 years or 5 years, you have to be that. Because for me, it's too much responsibility. I can feel like the impact of the experiences I had before from managers that didn't have a career, were in the job stage, and it affects a lot. So for me, it's like a professor that wants to teach. I don't want to get the highlights. So much responsibility, and I'm thinking of it like working on it to be able to get there. I might be wrong. You can tell me, Dr. Lama, because for me, like I have to be sure I'm gonna be like ready and have all the skills, all the experiences. It's like I'm doing it, but without having a title, which gives me a lot of liberty to do mistakes, to learn, to adapt, to adjust, to improve. So let's say like that.
I think you are doing. I think you are right. I think you're right. But once you get the responsibility, the opportunity to have a managerial while you are already practicing the managerial tasks, I think it's time that you get it if you get the opportunity. Okay, because as you are saying, you can see that people in charge, and you see their mistakes, you see their faults. So you would be able to avoid those because you are spotting them. You see what I mean? And as you are practicing, so I think you would be ready for if an opportunity occurs. Yeah. Okay. Good luck. Thank you so much for your participation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else have a question, or you want to talk to us?
To elaborate while someone is thinking of any question, in order not to stay quiet. And from what we had actually, it is very much advised that in our culture, it's always children guided what to study. The thing is that it's very important that we focus on our passion, on what we like, because once you go to the study that you look forward for, you are definitely achieving a success in job later on or in your career path. Always follow passion, and it's not only the parents always need the best for their children. They never want their children to be the second people. They want always to be the first one, okay, on top of things. But sometimes out of over caring of the child and over viewing his future or her future instead of herself or himself, we take the role of the child, and this is a real mistake that we parents do. So the best thing is that leave your child to follow his passion, to really do what he wants or she wants to do. Let her do what she dreamed of. If she's able to do it, let her do it. Let him do it. So they will be successful later on. It's better than, well, studying something and they don't find their passion in. I know some colleagues or some friends actually at school who well, two of them, they studied medicine because their parents wanted them to study medicine. But when they went out of the country after finishing the medicine, they went to USA to complete their study. They did not complete in that. They completely changed to management, and one of them now is managing a very big pharmaceutical company. And his work is not related to treating people at all. He's dealing with medicine. Okay, doctor. He went into the business of producing medicine. But what about the people's medication, taking care of sick people? This is the doctor's task. He did not go into that because simply he said it wasn't my passion. It was my parents' will, and I didn't want them to be angry with me. And I studied medicine for them. So he studied like 6 years just to fulfill his parents' will. Well, he's a nice guy, okay, but he didn't have to study that long, you know. And he went to USA and he studied 3 years of specialty in, you know, to continue to complete his trip or medicine journey, let me say. At the end, he ended up working in medicine production and selling medicine, and what sales he's having and how much the company is. So in fact, it's much better to leave our young children to choose their path. And now I believe that all generations now are quite mature and they know what they want, and let's stop guiding them. This is my advice for parents and for all of the attendees. If they have children, just leave them to choose what they want to be successful in their careers. And I wish you all the success in your careers all, and thank you so much for attending. I don't think we have more, do we, Madah?
I didn't hear you, doctor. Can you repeat, please? Okay.
More comments? Do we have more
no
questions?
No, there is no.
I don't think so. No. Nothing. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So thank you so much for IHRM for allowing this opportunity for me to participate. Thank you for the invitation. I do appreciate. I appreciate the hard work of you guys, and thank you for the attendees, and thank you, Hassan, for your participation, Ibtihal as well, and for all